Hello and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 149. I am recording on February 13th, Friday the 13th, 2026. And I just finished watching The Lost Weekend, which is the winner of the 1945 Oscars. This one was available on the Internet Archive. So it was free. Nothing so far, nothing paid for this round. I think the snub movie will also be free. So another round of $0. Love that. So since this is the winner, a few little extra fun facts here. I've watched a total of 147 movies, which is about 23.7% of the total. Total minutes watched 16,127, which is 268 hours and 47 minutes or 11.2 days. Total spent is still 308.15, but the average spend has gone down to $2.10 per movie. Yeah, for the year, it was $0 though. So and this is a newer breakdown. I don't know if I had this last time, but the 1920s, my total was $21.76 for an average cost of $2.42 a movie. 1930s, I spent $245.36 for an average cost of $2.76 per movie. And so far for the 1940s, I've spent $41.03 for an average of 84 cents per movie. Couldn't even get that at Blockbuster back in the day. So this round took me 14 days, which was the same as the last round. And when I'm counting these from start to finish, I'm not including snubbed movies. It's just the 5 Best Picture. So let's hope that that's kind of our average going into this, and maybe we'll hit our goal this year. Right now, I have an average watched of about one every 3.5 days. And this has me finishing, according to this year's stats, August 20th, 2030. Going by the all time, since I started way back in 2023 and really did not watch that many in 2023. That kind of screws the average. So the all time says I'm going to finish in December of 2034. So let's hope it's closer to the 2030 date. So a little Wikipedia. The Lost Weekend is a 1945 American drama film noir. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Directed by Billy Wilder and starring Ray Milland and Jane Wyman, based on Charles R. Jackson's 1944 novel about an alcoholic writer. The film was nominated for 7 Academy Awards and won 4. I'll get to those in a minute. It also shared the Grand Prix at the first Cannes Film Festival, making it one of only 4 films, the other 3 being Marty, 1955, Parasite, 2019, and Anora, 2024, win both the Academy Award for Best Picture and the highest award at Cannes. In 2011, it was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. So it was nominated for Best Picture, which it won, Best Director, which it won, Best Actor for Ray Milland, which it won, Best Adapted Screenplay for Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett, which it won, and then it was nominated for Cinematography, Original Score, and Film Editing. As said, directed by Billy Wilder, screenplay by Charles Brackett and Billy Wilder, produced by Charles Brackett, cinematography John F. Seitz, edited by Doane Harrison, music by Miklos Rocha, produced and distributed by Paramount Pictures, released November 29th, 1945, with a runtime of 101 minutes. Nothing from Bosley Crowther here. Not actually all that much in here about this. But the plot takes up a big portion of the Wikipedia page. A little bit about the production. Wilder was originally drawn to this material after having worked with Raymond Chandler on the screenplay for Double Indemnity. Chandler was a recovering alcoholic at the time, and the stress and tumultuous relationship with Wilder during the collaboration caused him to start drinking again. Wilder made the film in part to try to explain Chandler to himself. Wilder originally wanted Jose Ferrer, who I think is father of Miguel Ferrer, maybe, for the role of Don, but he turned it down. Charles Brackett's first choice for playing Helen was Olivia de Havilland, but she was involved with a lawsuit that prevented her from being in any film at that time. It has been said that Katharine Hepburn and Jean Arthur were also considered for the role. Majority of the film was shot at Paramount Studios in Hollywood. Wilder, however, insisted they shoot part of the film on location in New York City to create a distinct sense of realism. On October 1st, 1944, Wilder and a small crew began filming in New York, mostly along 3rd Avenue in Midtown East Manhattan. To further create a realistic atmosphere, Wilder and his crew used hidden cameras, placing them behind boxes or in the back of trucks and capturing Milland as he walked up 3rd Avenue among actual pedestrians who were unaware a film was being made. Production also had the unprecedented permission to film inside Bellevue Hospital in the alcoholic ward, a request that would be denied to future films. After completing filming in New York, the cast and crew returned to California to resume principal photography, where they recreated several New York locations, including a replica of P.J. Clark's, a tavern often frequented by author Charles Jackson. The film also made famous the character walking towards the camera in a daze as time passes camera effect. Okay. Kudos. Once The Lost Weekend was completed, it was shown to a preview audience who laughed at what they considered Milland's overwrought performance, and the studio considered shelving the film. Part of the problem was the print was shown at the preview did not have Miklos Rozsa's original music soundtrack, but instead had a temporary track containing upbeat jazz music. Amazing. However, once the Rozsa score was in place, along with a reshoot of the last scene, audiences and critics reacted favorably. The film's musical score was among the first to feature the theremin, which was used to create the pathos of alcoholism. The liquor industry launched a campaign to undermine the film even before its release. Allied Liquor Industries, a national trade organization, wrote an open letter to Paramount warning that anti-drinking groups would use the film to reinstate prohibition. Liquor interests allegedly enlisted gangster Frank Costello to offer Paramount $5 million to buy the film's negative to burn it. Wilder quipped that if they'd offered him $5 million, I would have burned the negative. Okay, so, as always, full disclosure. This morning, woke up about 5 a.m., couldn't get back to sleep, so I decided to just get up and try to knock this movie out. And, again, I wasn't actually that tired watching it, but I was on my phone a lot, which is just something that I need to break the habit of and haven't been able to do it yet. But that said, I was still paying attention and I did enjoy this movie very much. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't like it at first. Like I'm along with the preview audience, like his performance was a little, well, not that it was overwrought throughout, but it was in the beginning, he was just very whiny and annoying to me, without any context of what the movie is, what the movie was about. I did not know it was about an alcoholic and him dealing with this, bender of a weekend and remembering the past and all that. So at the beginning, I was kind of like, but in the end, I will say that his performance was very grounded. And, I hate to even say this. I have some very, very, very limited experience with alcoholism, and nobody to this extreme that I've, seen like this, like his character. But I do feel like the movie in a somewhat melodramatic and at times over dramatic way, probably did represent alcoholism fairly realistically. And as it said here in the Wikipedia, part of Wilder's reason for making the film was to try to explain Raymond Chandler to himself, who was an alcoholic. So, someone watching it that's an alcoholic, maybe it would, wake them up a little bit, maybe not. I don't know. But the 2 biggest flaws, I would say, are not just Milland's performance, but a couple of the side characters, specifically his neighbor, along with the music, were way over the top at times. And not his performance is good in the end. It's almost like a better version of Jack Nicholson in The Shining, like a person that, it's a little different. Like in this, obviously it's a different subject, but in this, he's, just coming off of getting clean, and then he spirals down into drinking and madness and delirium, DTs and everything throughout the course of this weekend, and culminating in basically wanting to kill himself, which he had thought about before. And but it is a spiral. Whereas, like in The Shining, this is an alcoholic who it's played by Jack Nicholson. And my problem with The Shining and him, which is many people's, is that he's just crazy the whole time. And because he's Jack Nicholson. But, and maybe this isn't a good comparison. I don't know. It's just what came to my mind right now. It is a good performance in that there you see that descent. And again, it does get over the top at times. And I think the bigger problem I had was, and the neighbor was really only in it a little bit at the end, but when she was very over the top. The bigger thing for me was the music. It was just so, especially when he was going on his, like when he was kind of in the worst of the throes of alcoholism. Those moments, it would like crescendo to these like piercing. I guess it was the theremin maybe, but it just was too much at times, I thought. So it's certainly better than a jazz score, I think, but it was still a little bit too much for me. So a couple of point, a little bit off of 4 stars instead of 5, maybe. But and I didn't realize before this that Billy Wilder had done Double Indemnity too. So and I like that one very much from the last round of Oscars. I think I also gave that one 4 stars. Pretty good overall. I like this one a lot. And talking about ratings, not a bad round. Oh wait, that's the wrong. It was a bad round. I was looking at a mixture of 2 years. So I gave 3 movies 4 stars, 1 movie 2.5, and 1 2. The Lost Weekend, Anchors Away, Mildred Pierce, I gave 4. Spellbound, I gave 2.5, and The Bells of St. Mary's 2. So average for this year is 3.3, not terrible. Average for the 40s, also 3.3. And average overall for all years, 3.2. So, there were 2 movies that kind of drug this year down for me. Spellbound and The Bells of St. Mary's, but the other 3 really made up for that. So I like this one a lot. Going on a bit long here. Apologies for that. But I will end it now. And stay tuned for a snubbed movie for 1945. And then we're on to 1946. I do like, as I said, before, it's kind of a mixed bag because I do like the fact that because of the 10 movies per year previous to this, I was able to watch 10 movies from each year. But I am also excited to get through a year's worth of movie in half the time. So, I mean, again, looking at the number of days to finish, took me 28 days to finish these last 10 movies. The round before took me 24 to finish 10. So I finished those 10 a little faster, but still I'm hoping that I can keep this momentum up and really knock a bunch of these out this year. And I don't mean that in the way that I just want to get through them. I do enjoy a lot of these. I just want to get through the whole thing, I guess. So that's it. I will see you next time for the snub movie. And, as always, check us out on Instagram. Movie Stubs 4, I believe is what it is. Again, I don't post much there. I just post the link on my story to the episode, as well as just a post with the picture. Can't put a link in the actual post. So, but leave a comment if you want, or don't. Up to you. See you next time.